What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel, the #1 place for new coaches, content creators, and entrepreneurs. In today's video, I want to tackle a topic that I don't see talked about enough here on the platform, and that is advice on hiring your very first video editor for YouTube. Now, if you are watching this video, I'm assuming that you are a YouTuber, and if you're a YouTuber, then you should know exactly how long it takes to create a video. From the moment that you actually conceptualize the video to the moment that you film the video, and to the moment where you actually edit the video, this process can take a whole day depending on how many videos that you actually need to produce. That's why hiring a video editor is one of the #1 things that most video creators actually outsource, because for many of us, video editing is not within our zone of genius. And even if you think you're good at video editing, oftentimes there's someone out there that can actually level up your videos even more. For example, on my channel right here, for a very long time, for over half a year, I was editing my own videos through iMovie and then eventually Final Cut Pro. Now, was I great at it? Not really, but I was decent enough to get by. However, the moment that I actually started making money on YouTube, I then reinvested that money back into outsourcing and actually hiring an expert video editor to do my videos. And since then, the quality of my videos have truly gotten better. And not only this, my watch time has increased as well. But more importantly, by hiring a video editor, I now have way more time to produce the content and stay within my zone of genius. That's why, for those of you who are watching, if you are in a place where you feel ready enough to actually outsource this to someone else and you have the means to do it, then make sure you keep on watching, because I'm going to share with you my top tips and advice on hiring your very first video editor, from budgeting to what to expect, and the things that I recommend that you do in order to make sure that your videos are the best that they can be. So if you're interested in all of this, then keep on watching. Now, the #1 thing that I want to talk about before I dive into the actual tips and strategies of hiring your very first video editor is to answer the question that many people ask me, and that is, Vanessa, how do I know when I'm actually ready to hire a video editor for my YouTube channel? Well, my answer to this is it's very subjective, and it really depends on your needs. For many people, they hire a video editor the moment that they start making money off of YouTube and they realize that YouTube is actually a career that they want to pursue. And then on the other hand, there's also plenty of people who hire video editors right from the get-go. A lot of people who work full-time jobs, generally what they like to do is actually take a portion of their paycheck in order to invest in outsourcing to a video editor so that they can have more time to create videos. So that's why the answer is very, very subjective, and it's very personal to the person. So while I can't really speak for anyone else but myself, I might as well share with you guys why I decided to hire a video editor and when was the right time for me. I don't just do YouTube, but I'm also running my coaching business on the side as well. And therefore, the moment that I realized that I wanted to do 2 videos a week on YouTube instead of just 1 video a week, I realized my whole life was consumed with either filming or with editing. Not only this, by that point, I had already gained an audience and people were already giving me feedback on things that they'd like to see on my channel, things that they'd like to see me improve on, and that's when I knew that I could no longer be a one-woman show, because there was an actual audience relying on me to be consistent on YouTube. And if I was still chasing my tail, trying to film, trying to edit videos, trying to do everything while running my business, it would probably compromise my consistency. And when I realized that I was spending majority of my time editing videos and not doing income producing things in my business, that's when I knew I had a problem. And then lastly, because I had the income to actually invest in this, I knew that I was ready. Now again, for you, it might be completely different. However, I do have to say that there are a lot of video editors out there that are actually a lot more affordable than you think. So if you do have that extra side cash, I highly recommend investing and outsourcing in video editing. Now, speaking of income, let's just dive right into the very first tip that I have for you, and that is know your budget. Like I said earlier, hiring a video editor doesn't need to break the bank, and nowadays it's actually so easy to find video editors on websites such as Upwork or Fiverr, or you can even do what I did and hire within your own community. When I hired my video editor, Elena, over at Create and Elate, she was actually someone that was already watching my videos, and all I had to do was post in my own Facebook group, the Fearless Boss Network, asking for video editors, and she was the one that really fit the bill. Not only this, beyond just my Facebook group, you can join other freelancing Facebook groups and connect with other video editors or other entrepreneurs that can refer you to video editors that they recommend. Really, the possibility possibilities are endless, so please don't think that it's super hard to find a video editor. Now, regardless of which platform you choose to hire your video editor, just know that the price ranges can really vary. Even a quick search on Upwork will show you that video editors can go as low as $10 to $15 an hour, all the way up to hundreds, if not thousands of dollars an hour as well. Not only this, how you pay the video editor can vary too. You can pay by hourly, like we just saw, or you can pay by video, meaning that you're paying about maybe $50 to $200 to $300 a video, depending on the rates that that video editor is proposing. And the beauty of this is that you're not necessarily paying for that person's time, meaning that if they had a lot of back and forth on the video, then they're not really charging you for that, and all you're really paying for is the end product. Versus if you're paying hourly, you are paying for the time that it takes that person to create the video. So that is something that you really want to keep in mind when you're thinking about your budget. Now, at this point in the video, you might be wondering which one is better. Is hourly better, or is paying by video better? Or what should the benchmark or baseline be for video editing in terms of pricing? And the answer, again, really depends. And that's why when you are looking towards your budget and hiring a video editor, you want to ask yourself these key questions that can ultimately change the price and change which method makes more sense to you, whether it's being charged hourly or charged by video. With that being said, the first question that you might want to ask yourself when you're thinking about your budget is, how many videos do you actually need? Now, if you're doing 1 video a week on YouTube, then you know every month you're going to need 4 videos. If you're like me and you do 2 videos a week, then you know you're going to need 8 videos. And depending on the volume of the videos that you need, it might change whether or not hourly will make sense for you, or if being charged by video will make more sense to you. For example, if you have a lot of videos that you need per month, maybe you need 8, maybe you need 12, maybe you need, I don't know, 20, then you know that perhaps being charged hourly doesn't make as much sense to you, because there's probably going to be a lot of back and forth, and there's probably going to be a lot of time needed from that video editor to create those videos, especially at that big of a volume. And therefore, there's going to be a lot of hours that are going to be required, and therefore it might cost more for you. Where on the flip side, if you actually choose to be charged by video, depending on whether or not you can find a video editor that offers that, then at least you can budget appropriately. For me, I know exactly how much I'm compensating Elena every single month because she charges me by video, and I don't have to worry on the hours and making sure that my budget is sustained. So that's why I personally prefer paying by video. But for you, it might be completely different depending on how many videos that you actually need. If you only need 2 to 4 videos a month, then maybe hourly makes more sense to you, because that person probably doesn't have that much volume, and therefore they're not going to have a crazy amount of hours. That's why for you, you really got to do the math and make sure that you're comparing rates to make sure what makes sense for you and your budget. Now, the next question that you might want to ask yourself when you're thinking about your budget is, on average, how long are your videos? For example, if your videos are 5 to 10 minutes long all the time, then I highly suggest that you actually choose the hourly route, because it's probably not going to take that long of a time for that video editor to string all the clips together. Versus if every single time your videos are about 15, 20, 30 minutes long, then you might want to consider the by video route, because the longer your videos are, the longer of a time it might take that video editor to actually do the work. So that's something that you also want to consider when you're thinking about your budget. This leads me to the last thing that you might want to consider when you're thinking about your budget for a video editor, and that is, how complex are your videos in the first place? For example, if your videos have a lot of B-roll and it has a lot of complex footage that you require your video editor to comb through and string into one coherent video, then you should expect that that video editor is probably going to charge you a lot more, especially if you are someone that wants a lot of crazy animations and a lot of features. Versus if you have simple sit-down videos like I do that are pretty straightforward to string together, then you're probably going to be charged a lot less. So you definitely want to consider how complex your videos are, because that is going to change the rate in which that video editor will be quoting you. Now, at this point in the video, I've really shared a lot of my perspectives as the client and as someone who has shopped around. But you do have to understand that I am not the expert, I'm not a video editor, and neither are you. That's why my next tip for you is to do your due diligence diligence, shop around, and do trial runs. Something that you need to know is that even with Elena, my current video editor, she wasn't the first person that I worked with, and I had actually tested other video editors prior to committing on actually hiring them. And even with Elena, before I actually signed the final contract of us working together, I actually allowed her to do multiple tests on my videos just to make sure that we were indeed the right fit. Doing your due diligence, shopping around, and actually doing trial runs with these video editors before you commit to actually hiring them on full time is really important, because you not only want to know their rates and compare them, but you also want to see whether or not it's worth it. You want to see if their quality is actually good, whether or not their style aligns with yours, and how fast that they actually pump out these videos. If your video editor is MIA and doesn't get back to you in 2 to 3 weeks, then that's a problem, especially when you're a YouTuber. You really need to pump out videos fast, and if your video editor doesn't really match the pace that you're expecting them to be at, then you're going to have a problem. And that's why it's really important that you're testing these video editors out before you actually commit in signing contracts. Now, to help you out on what to look out for when you're testing out these video editors, here are a couple of things. Do they follow instructions easily? For example, if you tell them to do something, do they actually do it? Another thing to consider is if they do make a mistake, do they only make that mistake once, and is it a forgivable mistake? Oftentimes, if they can't follow instructions, there's going to be a lot of mistakes. And if they're mistakes that you already pointed out to them and they're not fixing it, then that's an issue. Versus if they do make a mistake and it's a forgivable mistake, make sure that they don't do it again. You really want to test out and understand whether or not your video editor has attention to detail and listens to your feedback. Another thing to consider is how much back and forth is there. If there are multiple back and forths, meaning that you constantly have to review their work, then that's also an issue. For example, with me and Elena, or Elena and I, we only have one review because she nails it every single time. And that is something that I really value in a video editor. I do not like to have multiple back and forths. Now, obviously, this is also responsibility that I have to take on my end in being a really great communicator. And later on in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to actually brief your video editor to ensure that there's not that much back and forth. But remember, these are things that you really want to consider when you are testing out your video editor. And last but not least, another thing that you want to consider when you're testing out these video editors is, do they take creative risks? You're hiring and you're investing in experts for a reason, and you want to make sure that that video editor is also injecting their own creativity into your videos. There must be a noticeable difference in terms of quality when it comes to your videos, because you're not hiring experts to stay the same, you're hiring experts to really have a visible level up. And if that video editor is only maintaining the things that you already were doing yourself, then you probably want to find a video editor that's probably going to take way more creative risks and actually implements and integrates and even consults you on things to add onto your videos that will actually make them stronger. Now, obviously, these are awesome things that you want to look out for when you are testing out your video editor. However, you must also understand that you are also responsible for the success of your channel and for the success of the end result of your videos. And this all comes down to clear communication. Now, something that you should know about me is that before I became a YouTuber and a business owner, I used to be a brand manager at a corporation where I was in charge of working with multiple third-party suppliers. And what I learned from that experience is that if you are not clear in communicating with these third-party suppliers, then there's going to be a lot more back and forth. And the more back and forth that you create, the more money and time that you're actually going to be spending. So if you want to save money and also save time, especially if you are being charged hourly, you want to make sure that you are really clear in your communication and in your instructions of what you want in the final result for your video. That's why creating a video brief is going to be super helpful to ensure that your video editor is equipped with the right tools to actually create the best video for your channel. Now, instead of me telling you and walking you through this video brief verbally, let me just share my screen and show you exactly how I communicate with Elena on exactly what I want in my videos to ensure that we only have one review and one review only. Since implementing this video brief that I've created and developed for my team, it's been a lot more easier and a lot more efficient to ensure that the videos are always up to the standard that I like, and I'm also not wasting Elena's time as well with the constant back and forth. And the back and forth is definitely something that you want to avoid. So without me babbling on for too long, let me just share my screen and walk you through the brief. Alright guys, so right now we are looking at a Google Doc where I put my entire brief for a video to share with Elena. Now each Google Doc serves as one video, so this one specifically is all about how to batch content for YouTube. So as you can see, I have 3 columns. Right here is the clip that I'm referencing, and if you guys are familiar with my channel or what I've taught you guys, is that I film my videos in chunks. So it's actually multiple clips that are strung together. So here I'll actually reference the clip. Then I will tell her exactly what type of text I'm looking for or what I want to appear on the screen. And then on the side here, this is where I put my notes. For example, in this clip, I wanted Elena to put a picture of herself, or I wanted her to find a way to make this specific clip more engaging because I had a lot of text that was showing up. Over here, I also wanted her to show a picture of a calendar, and I just gave her the link of what photo I wanted to use. So this is a way that I actually communicate with Elena, and so far it's been really, really effective. Not only am I really telling her specifically what I want to see, but I'm also guiding her for anything that she might need to know of as she's editing this clip. And this is a lot more simpler than Elena just winging it and us having a lot of back and forth. So I highly recommend this method if you are working with a video editor and you want to make sure that you are saving time and that you're also managing expectations. With that being said, let's just move right on into the video. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of little things to consider when you're hiring your very first video editor, and I really hope that all of these lessons helped you avoid any of the future frustrations that you might face, because I definitely faced them 5 to 6 months ago when I was trying to hire my very first editor. Now, with that being said, I understand that not everyone is in the financial position to invest in this type of service. That's why I want you to click the notification bell, because in my next video, I'm going to share with you some tips and advice on how you can save money as a new entrepreneur. Saving money is something that is really important, especially if you are in the beginning stages of building your business. And the more that you can save, the more things that you can invest in, such as a video editor, better software, mentorship, and all of that. So if you are someone who's interested to learn how I managed to save enough money to invest in these things, then I want you to hit the notification bell, because in the next video, we're gonna cover all of that. In the meantime, while you wait for that video, I post a lot of videos on entrepreneurship, content creation, and coaching. So make sure you check out these 2 videos that I have here as well. As always, guys, I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and a great life, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.